Hello friends, it's Kristie Marcotte. I know it's been quite a while since I posted a new card challenge. I think the last one was mid-October. So I decided to take a little break from making Christmas cards and share a new card challenge. The theme is something old, something new. Make a card using something you've had in your craft room for a long time, something old, and also bring in something new. And it doesn't have to be new on the market. Maybe it's just something new to you. For my something old, I'm using a paper collection from Echo Park. This is Reflections by Lori Whitlock. This is from 2013. I have used some of it over the years. I just never finished it off. I think it's perfect for some masculine or gender neutral cards because it does have a little bit of floral designs in there. For my something new, I have the Holtz Deckle trimmer. I bought this probably about a month ago, but I haven't used it yet. So I thought this was the perfect time to pull it out. This is not my style at all. I really like to have straight, crisp, clean edges on my cards, and I will not get that with this trimmer. But sometimes it's good to go outside of your regular style. And this will be the first time I'm using this trimmer. I will have a link provided in the description box for that trimmer. Unfortunately, that paper collection is probably long sold out. For my card, I'm using a card sketch from OWH. This is number 218. It's one of my favorites, so I do tend to use it quite a bit. I have this green tone-on-tone paper that I'm going to use for that strip going across the card. I've already cut the paper to 5 1/4 inches. Now I'm just going to use the Deckle trimmer and cut it to 1 3/4 inches. Now for that large box, this is where I'm going to use the clock paper. I trimmed 2 of the sides first with the trimmer, and then I can line up the measurements with that top ruler on the trimmer for the rest of the sides. I do want to layer all my pieces since I love to add cardstock layers. I dug through my cardstock scraps for this brown paper. I think it matched really nicely, but I didn't have a very large piece. I have enough for the background piece, but for this green piece where I'm going to have the brown cardstock on the edges, it wasn't quite wide enough. So I just cut one side with the Deckle trimmer, trim the other side, and then just cut it in half. Now I put adhesive on the back of the green paper, and I'm just going to line up that brown cardstock. So there is going to be a little gap in the middle, but that's fine. I'm just using my scissors to trim away the extra since I didn't cut it exactly the same. For the background, I'm just using some craft cardstock that I have on hand. Go ahead and adhere this green strip. I'll just use some ATG tape. Then I'll layer that craft cardstock onto this darker brown cardstock. And generally I add 1/8 of an inch for my matted layers, but for this card I'm going to have 1/4 of an inch for that very background layer. I'll also be adding this brown cardstock layer to the clock paper. So I'm going to trim 2 of the sides first, then I'll adhere the clock paper into that corner. Then I'll pull out the trimmer again and cut the final 2 sides. I thought it would be the easiest way to get a fairly accurate matted layer. Now first I had the pattern paper to the right of the blade on the trimmer, but it's harder to line up that way, so I flipped it around. It's definitely easier to get an accurate cut this direction since you can see what you're cutting. Now, like I said, this still does bother me a little bit since those edges aren't all nice and straight. But I'm going with it since I'm trying to do something different. Now, before I adhere this image box, I did put some scrap cardstock on the upper portion, just where it's going over that green layer. I like to keep everything nice and level. I'll just adhere that to the card, and I am following this sketch very closely this time. I'll put my card front onto a card base. Sometimes I like to have that white edge of the card base showing, but not for this card. Since there's more of an off-white color, I didn't want to have that white in the background. For this sentiment on my card, I've already stamped this out. This is just a note. It's from a Paper Smooches stamp set called Sentiment Sampler. I've had this in my craft room for many years, so I know it's not available any longer. I am going to layer this on some more of that brown cardstock. I did cut the fishtail on the left-hand side, and then I'll trim out the fishtail with that brown cardstock layer. I'll also add that small scrap piece of cardstock to the left-hand side, just where it goes off of the clock paper. And then I'll use some ATG and adhere it to the card. Now for those 3 small circles on the sketch, I'm going to use some Love from Lizi peel-offs. This is the mini circle style in gold. So I'm using the smallest size. These are super tiny. I love using the peel-offs for embellishments since it doesn't add any extra bulk, and then you won't need to pay anything additional for postage. So there is my finished card. I did end up making 2 since I had enough of the same paper. I did end up using a different shade of the brown cardstock simply because I didn't have enough to do 2 cards. If you'd like to play along with my card challenge, you can head over to my Facebook or my Instagram page. I do have links provided in the description box for all my social media pages. If you do post on Instagram, be sure to use the hashtag kristiescardchallenge. I do want to mention that currently Instagram is hiding all of the hashtags due to political reasons, so I'm not able to see any of your posts, but hopefully that will go away soon. Be sure to mention what your something old and something new is for your card. As always, there is no time frame, just play along when you have a chance. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful day.